And I have a fabulous jazz diva, scat diva. Let's make sure I clarify that. Miss Audrey Northington, scat diva. When she gets situated, I'll let her holler. Meantime, I just want to let you guys know what Jazz Keepers is all about. Jazz Keepers is about the preservation and the education of jazz. It's about making sure we kind of starting to clear the blur lines of what pop, blues, R&B, rhythm R&B, and jazz is. Everything is there are specific different lines for these genres of music. And they've been blurred through the years, especially jazz. So my different guests every week. Last week we had Mr. Desi McCullers Jr. And now we have Audrey Northington, scat diva. And these are ones that have been in the industry for years. So they do have the right to speak and say so of what jazz is about. And in order to help our younger generation to understand what jazz is about, in order for us to preserve it and to educate and then to put it into play and let people be able to continue these lines of jazz. So, once she get her earphones on and she get ready, what I'm going to do is turn it over and I'm going to let our scat diva be able to tell you a little something. You can fix your mic so they can hear that lovely voice of yours.
1, 2, right
you
here.
You can move it and put it up to you. We are the whole stand.
I'm dissecting. See, that's what jazz is about. Taking stuff, tearing it apart, and throwing it back together.
You gotta put it right in front, and then right in front of the mic, like this is in front of the mic. That should protect it. So pull it up, and then you can be able to talk, and you should be able to hear yourself in earphones.
Right here.
Can you hear yourself?
1, 2. Let me see. Hello.
While she's getting adjusted.
Just fine. Can you hear me?
Are we good?
Okay, I think I'm good.
I
had to warm up.
So, you guys, what we're gonna do, Audrey, and mind you, we've been knowing each other for years, you guys. We've been knowing each other, and I just was reminded because I'm so used to saying Audrey, and it's really Audrey.
No,
So when you see her, think of fresh air, a breath of
yawning in the morning when you wake up in the morning. Audrey.
So, can you tell us who you are, your history, and what makes it for someone to want to listen to what you had to say about jazz? What makes them understand or why you have a right to speak on it?
Okay, my name is Audrey Branham. Then I married and became Northington. And like Tina Turner, I kept the name. Changed dance partners. But anyway, what occurred in my life was my mom making eggnog every Christmas. Mm-hmm. The sound just went away.
Right. It left okay. Kind
of. Every Christmas. And while she was making or cooking, whatever, she always played music. Now, she played Aretha Franklin most of the time on Sundays when she was making her special Sunday dinner that lasted about 2 days. Mm-hmm. But when it came to Christmas time, she always played Ramsey Lewis Trio.
Oh, wow.
While she was making her eggnog. Mm-hmm. And I said, wow, that's very different from what Aretha Franklin is doing. Mm-hmm. So my exposure to jazz was through Ramsey Lewis. And then later on, it branched off to other people, Brooke Benton. But
okay.
He was jazz. He was kind of a blues situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I, being an educator, and yes, I taught for 30 years in the school system, 6 years in Highland Park, 24 years in Detroit Public Schools. Mm-hmm. I studied at Oakland University and Tennessee State University.
Oh, okay.
And I studied opera as well.
Okay.
Of course, I grew up in the church on both sides of my family, my mom and dad. I came from a mixed marriage. My mother was Methodist and my father was Baptist. Mm-hmm. That's a joke. Okay, so anyway, mixed marriage.
Okay.
So my first exposure was, of course, in Sunday school, playing little church songs, this, that, and the other. I took piano lessons. But
That's right.
as I got through high school, I found out there was nothing I enjoyed better than playing music. And I branched out from piano, I went into melodic percussion. That's vibes.
Melodic percussionist.
That is vibes, marimba.
Ah, like John
bells,
Davis.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And the vibes was my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did all the bells, glockenspiels, and chimes, and timpani, kettle drums, and all of that.
Okay.
So that's melodic percussion. I can't do much with a drum set because I have to look at my feet, and that doesn't work. Same thing with the organ. I just can't do that.
Gotcha.
Feeling around like that. So anyway, melodic percussion, went to college, and I was the first female in 1974 ever to play in the percussion ensemble at Tennessee State
Wow,
University.
I didn't know that.
Well, what it was, I came to audition for the band there, and they didn't allow women to march. But
Wow.
I'm from Detroit, and we don't take no for an answer. And
Correct.
luckily, I was taken under the wings of a Professor Thomas Leroy Davis, who had just transferred from Michigan State University down to Tennessee State University. So he felt a kinship with me because I was from the D.
Okay.
And it was there that I started my melodic, well, not started, where I continued. And I was the first female, and it was so much fun. That was my favorite class because I had all these wonderful guys. Nothing but guys. I was the only girl, and I was running all over the stage with my platform shoes from Baker's. The shoe store, Baker's a shoe.
That was my first shop
Baker's shoes.
in Hamtramck.
But here, and let me get back into the jazz. Mom played Ramsey Lewis every Christmas.
Okay.
So as a baby, I was listening to that.
Gotcha.
And one of the first songs I learned how to sing was not jazz but blues, but Mavis Staple.
Ooh.
And blues and jazz have so much intertwining. But let me say this right now. I want to give you the technical
Now, here we go.
definition.
Here we go. Education.
Jazz. I got to do it. I'm a
That's
teacher.
how you do it.
Jazz is a type of popular American music
Mm-hmm.
created by African Americans.
Ah.
Let me repeat that. Popular American music created
Mm-hmm.
by African Americans in the South,
Mm-hmm.
often using syncopation, improvisation, and strong rhythms.
Got you.
Now, syncopation, what is that? Playing in between the beat, not always on the beat, off the beat. And here is the definition of syncopation. A rhythm pattern with stressed notes occurring in unexpected places, usually on the weak beats of the measure. And see, this is the thing. R&B music is on the 2 and the 4.
Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4. And the same with church, okay? In church, gospel music is church with a drink.
Church with a drink.
Okay, the blues came from gospel. It came from church with a drink. B.B. King was singing blues songs on the corner. And then when he jazz songs. I'm getting it mixed up. Jazz songs on the corner.
B.B. King
B.B. King
was
And
singing
then
jazz songs on the corner.
Yes, and they would say, "Amen, God bless you, son." Then when he sang the blues, they were putting money in his guitar case. So, church with a drink.
Did y'all hear that? Now, that's something I didn't know.
Now that's blues.
Okay.
But I got to get back to the jazz because it's the only true American art form. We made it popular, jazz. These jazz rhythms and syncopation came from Africa, with us beating on the drums and, talking about freedom and this and that and just communicating and all of that jazz, all that beat in between. Is where the jazz came from. And then it was picked up in Switzerland. Okay. Montreal, where they had their jazz festivals. But it all originated. It is the only true American art form of music. Jazz.
That everybody want to twist and turn and try to manipulate in order for it not to be pure.
But the thing is, jazz can't be pure because it is improvisation, which means you may do a jazz song this way, and then the next day you can turn it up and do it another way. You may do a swing. Da 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 ya, da 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 ya da. Then the next day you might want to make it a samba or a rumba or a salsa, okay? And you get back to those African rhythms, and that's the syncopation and all the beats and everything in between. But jazz, let me say something about jazz and jazz singers.
But before you get away from being that, when I say pure, when I made that statement, is because of what you just said. Is because of different people who try to be that's an R&B singer, just because they feel they'll sing the song that makes them a jazz singer. Because I'm a sing Misty, I'm a jazz singer. But what you just did shows the difference, and once again puts that river between to show the difference of what a jazz singer or R&B singer or a pop singer is. And why I say they're messing up and making it not be pure, because they're drying up the river between and not allowing for jazz to be actually or what it is, and the complications and improvisations that it is. That's why I say they're trying to mess it up from being pure.
Well, now let me say something about that. When I first graduated out of college with my degree in music, it was not in jazz studies. It's just that WJZZ radio made me want to do jazz. And then when I got with the Jimmy Wilkins Orchestra, the great late Ernie Rogers says, baby, you got to learn the difference between a jazz riff and a gospel run.
You just said some magical words.
Okay, when you sing. So a lot of times just because you're singing in church with that church, soul that is mixed in with R&B, it's different. And the difference, viva la difference, is that you may go to a minor key, that you may hang somewhere up on that seventh, okay, that minor third, where in R&B music, you're going to take it back to the tonic, to the do. Okay, but with jazz, you may hang out somewhere on an augmented fourth or fifth, or the minor third, and definitely the seventh chord. So I'm trying to think of something.
And in case you guys not understanding what she's saying, you will, the more and more we have these sessions, these different shows, you'll understand what she was talking of, naming out those different notes. You'll come to understand, because we're going to have more people like her. We're going to have her back. We're going to have music. We're going to be able to start being able to play a song and say, oh, you know what? See, that's that chord. That's that seventh chord. It's about education. It's about us being able. So I jump in. I'm jumping back out. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I started listening more. And then, of course, you really have to listen to instrumentation.
Correct.
So I got my BS degree from the colleges, but when I graduated from there, I got my master's degree from, don't interrupt, the streets.
I was breathing a happiness.
I got it from Teddy Harris. I learned how to scat from Mickey Braden. I used to just be right under her when she would play at Bert's place on Jefferson, and they had the intercom speaker, and I says, I gotta do that scat thing. What is that? How do you do that? And she says, turn off the TV and imitate the instruments. Sing a song all the way through without using the words, which is easy to do if you don't know the words. And like Ella Fitzgerald, many times forgot the words, didn't know the words, but she knew the melody and the refrain, etc., etc. And so instead of singing the words, she shabam dooba dooba wedding dead and dooba yabom dooba booba booba dead and dooey doodly dat way dooba dead and die that. Somebody told me, write the words down. Dooba dooba. Come on now. Okay, but see, everybody knows how to scat. They just don't use it. Some of them get a little afraid, to break up all those syllables and things. But you do know, because back in the days when we had the record stores, you would go to the record store and say, oh, I want that song that goes like this. Body up, body up,
right.
body yaddy yaddy yaddy. That's the first form of scat, okay?
That's right. That's
then
right.
you listen to, what's that Natalie Cole? Wada papa yada da yada didn't double. Ba-do da yada. Don't nobody sue me. I do not own the rights to this music or these melodies that I'm giving and bringing to you. And for anybody that calls himself a jazz singer, you need to be able to scat to me. That's my opinion. It is not a law. It should be. But if you are a jazz singer, you should be able to scat, and you should go to the dangling participle, which may be a minor seventh. You need to be able to dangle that. And I'll have to show you how to do that later. And someone says, also, a lot of times I was singing standard songs because I learned them in junior high school and thought that they were jazz. And they said, no, those are standards. There's a difference between standards and jazz,
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, when you sing Red Clay, da ya da 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 ba da da da, boo ba boo da 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 da, you know, that is a difficult song to sing.
Or Take Five.
Oh, now I did take that first time I sang Take Five. I had to do it in 4.
Oh,
You know that ain't right. But I want to get back to the scat thing. I am no way the greatest scat singer. I just do it to keep it alive. And I took the name Scat Diva to keep the art form of it alive. Because sometimes, you know, people just don't understand. And I just think it is something that everybody should have in their life.
and like you said, some are scared of it, but when they hear you do it and they see that you do it so smooth like butter, then I think that might give some the confidence to go home and learn or want to learn.
And let me say, the first time I learned how to scat, it was in the presence of Rod Lumpkin, the organist, the grinder, and Perry Hughes. And we were doing a gig out in Grosse Pointe, and the only thing they had to drink was either beer or champagne. I never had champagne before, so I drank it real fast like Kool-Aid because I was thirsty. And I got slightly inebriated. My lips were slurring and running. And then I was singing My Funny Valentine, and I was scatting on it. And Rod turned to Perry and said, "Where did she learn how to scat?" And Perry said, "She just drunk." He said, "Well, she sound good. Give her another drink." And that was the first time I scattered. It was on that particular song. And I've been scatting and lubricating ever since.
While she's lubricating, I just want to remind everybody that you're watching the Jazz Keepers on WJZZ Cool TV. And this is the coolest station in the world. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, IG, Twitch, and all the top social media platforms. And I just want to let you know we will in a minute, probably around about another 20 minutes, we'll be opening up the phones. So I'll give you a heads up, not right now, but a heads up. The phone number is going to be 313-355-6018. If you have some questions for our guest in the house, Miss Audrey Northington, Scat Diva, then you can make sure you can call in and ask her questions. You might have something that you might want to add or something we might have said that you might say, well, you know what, I disagree or I agree. So this is a discussion and an education of what we're trying to do in order to keep everybody in love with jazz. So once again, this is Jazz Keepers, and I'm going to turn it back over to our guest, and Miss Audrey Northington. Audrey Northington.
This is the album my mom, Eleanor Louise Carter, bought. Branham.
Okay.
My dad was the Branham. The Ramsey Lewis Trio, More Sounds of Christmas. And there was a song on this album entitled Eggnog. And that's what she played. And that was my first introduction to jazz. And then, you know, later on, a lot of other people came.
Oh, that's my baby.
Al Jarreau. And I'm not bragging on myself, but someone in Ann Arbor said that I was the female version of Al Jarreau. I'm not that good.
That is a high compliment.
But that's what somebody else said, okay? I'm not that good.
When I saw that, it was that record right there that taught me Spain.
Spain? Oh, goodness gracious. I
love everything on there.
Yeah. So, and then, of course,
here's Miss
Nancy
Baby.
Wilson. The baby.
The baby.
Honey, yes, the baby. Nancy Wilson started out as a R&B.
I saw a Black Journal that had that, and when she was interviewed, and she stated that, and it caught me so off guard.
But the way she spoke and sang, she had that little growl, and then she had that lilting and that little slight yodel that she would do. And someone suggested, well, the way you sing, you need to sing jazz. And the rest is history, you know. And then what Mickey Braden told me, she says, listen to the musicians. Do what the horn player is doing.
Wynton Marsalis.
And also Miles Davis. and do what the drummer is doing, rat-a-tat-tat, whatever that is. You gotta make every instrument come out of your mouth.
Correct.
And that's how you get that scat thing going on. The drummer goes rumpa-pum-pum and rat-a-tat-tat and So you got all that going on. So that's the rhythmic syncopated portion of jazz. And sometimes just don't sing the words.
Correct.
And as Bill Myers says, I never know the words.
Bill Myers, you can catch him every Thursday, you guys, over down at Burst. We'll be talking about different musicians, different singers, different places that you can find jazz, because once again, it's education and preservation. So we want you guys to be able to, when you can, be able to go and support jazz. Not an R&B group saying that we're playing jazz, because you're not going to get jazz.
Listen, ain't no one song, Watermelon Man.
Or Magic.
Yes, Mr. Magic. And they think they're and then some of them actually think that Luther Vandross and Anita Baker, who has a jazz album, but they think that's jazz.
Queen Latifah.
Oh, now that girl is singing some jazz for real.
She's singing it, but that's not making her a jazz singer.
Well, I think she is. Because
I don't.
I love that.
I think she's a rapper, and she can sing, but she's not a jazz singer.
Well, I loved her jazz
I love
album.
her too. Don't get me. I
was so shocked. I had no idea, because that's the hardest form of music.
But you got to think, what band? What do she have? An orchestra, a jazz orchestra behind her that just gives the notation and the feeling of a jazz singer? Because she's singing the song. But if you were to put her on the stage with just a upright bass piano and drums, can she hold her ground on that?
Yes, she can. I've seen her do it. When she had her show. And
then
do you have her?
No, expect it. Look,
her Lush Life, the album where she does nothing but jazz covers.
I've heard it.
I was shocked, and I was very impressed. And you have the right to have your opinion, but I say that Queen Latifah can do some jazz. And as well as Anita Baker, who grew up around the corner from me on Tuxedo.
No, I agree. She can do some jazz. I agree to that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not going to put her as a jazz singer or jazz vocalist.
She can do some of everything. She's an actress. So is she acting like she's a jazz singer? I think she is. I think she's capable of doing it.
She does
and even though jazz is my main thing, honey, I've opened up to some blues, and I had no idea.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, my first blues gig was with Straight Ahead, and I said, why do you want me to do blues when I'm known as the scat diva? And they said, well, Audrey, blues is church with a drink. And I had so much church in me, and then I got me a drink in me, and it was all work. And I'm not an alcoholic. I only drink on Fridays. Only on Fridays.
Well, I love what Desi said last week. He said that jazz is 3,000 notes. Where 3,000 notes to a house of 3 people sitting in the house. Where blues is 3 notes with 1,000 people sitting in the house.
Exactly. And that's what I found out. Singing the blues got me more money. Jazz musicians are broke.
But that's what we got to bring up. We got to.
It is so hard. It is so hard.
Yeah.
You do it because you love it and it's your passion.
And you want to keep it going and educate the younger crowd about it.
I don't want them to forget the art form. That's why I chose. Well, I didn't choose the name. The name was given to me by Jocelyn B.
Really?
The B of the blues. And she said, girl, you know what? You just a scat diva. She gave me that name, if I'm not mistaken. So I have to give credit where credit is due. Mickey Braden taught me how to scat. Okay? And I just... and I learned also a lot from Renee King Jackson.
Oh, yes,
taught me comedy.
Love you, Renee. Love you.
She taught me comedy incorporated with my music, and she doesn't know how to scat, and she keeps saying, girl, you're going to have to teach me how to do that. I said, Renee, you do so much. She even cooks like crazy.
I heard something. We were talking on the phone, and she mentioned something. It just threw me into La La Land. I can't remember what it was. Matter of fact, if she's listening, she'll be laughing. But yes, I heard she cook her butt off.
She can, both sides. And both feet. She used to do all the cooking classes at Brighthoff?
Really? Oh, Go Lightly.
Go Lightly.
I went to Go Lightly for 1 year. I know we're going off people because we're also doing some catch up. I went to Go Lightly for 1 year for horticulture,
Okay.
and I saw a lot of the cooking people there whenever I couldn't go to the island. So yeah, I got to talk.
And
to her.
she
Didn't know
invited
that.
my choir when I was doing K through 8 at Detroit Open School to come and perform. And it was a wonderful experience. The kids were so happy. We did a Black History program, and, we just incorporate things into it. And I taught all of my kids how to do just a little bit of scatting. And I actually did get on the board and write shabba-ba-doo, boop-boop-wee-doo, and I taught them how to do some scatting.
It was just finna come out of my mouth.
What?
That I would love to see a young choir, and some of the ones that do some scatting. If they do a jazz tune, and some will do some scatting. I think that'll be a remarkable show.
Yeah, the thing is to get them to do it while it's young so that it's just like a second language. It's like Pig Latin.
But the Dime is putting out a lot of young Truno.
What's the Detroit Youth Choir? They're doing some things, but I've heard, I don't know if I've heard Mosaic throw a little scat in somewhere. And I'm trying to think of the other choir. Well, I guess, was it Castech? But whatever. Put some scat in your life. Put some jazz in your life. Okay?
Now, you know what? On that, you guys, we're going to open up the phones. Once again, the number is 313-355-6018. I'll repeat again because sometimes I talk fast. 313-355-6018. Come on and feel free to call in. Ask any kind of questions that you would like. Make sure they're clean. And if you have any questions for our guest in the house, she'd be welcome and open to answer it. Meantime, we're going to keep this discussion going. Now, I was wondering because we was having a conversation and what we were coming close to talking about, as far as the difference between our singers. What can we do in order to help encourage a lot of singers who want to be a jazz singer? They say that I sing jazz, I'm a jazz vocalist, but we from our ears might hear different. How can we help them without harming or saying the wrong thing?
Well, I would just tell them to listen to jazz recordings. You got to pull up Ella and Sarah and Billy and Nina Simone. You got to listen to the jazz greats. And one I just recently discovered, I say maybe within the last 5 years, Anita O'Day.
Yes.
I was shocked. So that and you got to go to Baker's Keyboard Lounge. That's where I've been performing for the last 30 years. Since 1934. But let me get with that. Okay, the oldest jazz club in the world is in Detroit. It's not in Switzerland. It's not in New Orleans. It's not in Toronto. It's in the Detroit. And Detroit is so well known as being Motown because of the Motors and the Motown music. But what you want to know about these?
You're going to go to Baker's Keyboard Lounge.
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Oh,
I was calling because I wanted to say something to the Scat Diva.
Can you hear?
Yes. What would you like to say, caller?
What's your name,
I would
caller?
like to say that I have listened to her and followed her from Baker's and Bert, and she's so phenomenal, and I appreciate her. But I do have a question.
What is your question?
I'd like to know what advice would she give to any up-and-coming young people who might be interested in singing jazz? And I'll hang up and listen.
Well, before you hang up, darling,
I think
what's
we
your
had
name?
that question.
What's your name?
Okay, I guess she
Hello?
hung up. Okay, anybody who wants to do it has to study the greats. Ella. You have to study Ella. She is just the queen of it. Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Anita O'Day, Nina Simone.
Kurt Elling.
Thank you. Oh, my God.
Kurt Elling.
Yes, Kurt
If
Elling.
you guys don't know, his name is Kurtell.
ING.
Kurt Elling.
IN?
ING. Yeah, ING. Kurt
Okay,
Elling.
yes, I love his. I do his version of Nature Boy, and of course Al Jarreau and Bobby McFerrin. You study the jazz singers.
Correct.
And thank you for that compliment. I'm glad you see me at Baker's, where I've had a residency for about 6, 7 years. Started with Alan Barnes.
Yeah.
The late great Alan Barnes, who
Yes.
was original Blackbird, walking in rhythm. Du-du-du-du-du-du. That's him on the flute playing it, du-du-du-du-du-du-du-du, singing my song.
Got my flute today.
Yeah, all right.
I will be playing with the musicians now.
Okay, all right. Well, now wait a minute. Lizzo did the flute thing. You trying to be Lizzo to the Detroit version?
No, actually, I'm just starting to play with my son. My son is Justin Williams, and he's learning classical jazz. And he and I were just, he's playing. He's in the works of making a CD. He's 20, so he's matter of fact when you were asking caller about young vocalists. Once again, that's what this show is about. We're here to help train, educate, and preserve and preservate for jazz. And we're so glad you called in, because that's what we need, is for ones to be able to call in and ask those questions, how we can be able to, keep this going. We have another call. How are you? What's your name?
Hello?
Hi. Hello.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement. I've heard Scat Diva singing. I heard one of her albums, or one of the songs that she did. She has a pure voice. I'm a musician and vocalist myself.
What's your name?
My name is Glenn Anderson.
Oh, hello, Glenn. She's listening.
Hi.
I think I met you. You play drums,
Possibly.
and aren't you an actor?
Yes. I saw you. I'm one of your biggest fans. I really enjoy your voice. You have a very pure voice. I heard one of your recordings, and I was just in awe because, I know vocals. I know vocals, and you really sound really good. And your scatting is amazing.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Once again, the number is 313. And aren't you an actor?
A dancer.
we thank.
Who's the me?
I'm sorry. I heard one of your recordings.
I'm sorry. We can hear. I think we can. It's kind of a relay. We can kind of hear. So go ahead and ask your next question.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, you was asking did you see her at Baker's? Where you see her at?
Oh, I've seen her perform at Baker's the first time I saw her at Baker's.
Oh, wow.
And she had on this beautiful red outfit.
Oh, must have been around Christmas time.
I'm sorry?
Was it around Christmas time?
Yes.
Cause I came and saw you in this gorgeous red. Oh, thank you so much, caller. We appreciate it. We appreciate your call.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And for my people at Baker's, I'm not there now because of the pandemic, but when it's over, I have plans to return to Baker's Keyboard Lounge. I bought my house 6 minutes, 25 blocks, 5 stop signs. My car is on autopilot. See, I can't work downtown and have a glass of wine, but I can work at Baker's and for a while, because my car can get to my house in 6 minutes. And when I first bought my house, I wanted to be around the jazz clubs. So there was Baker's, and at that time, Dummy George's Workshop, Jazz Workshop number 4. Doc Harris Workshop number 4 was on the Lodge. I don't know. That building is the building is there, but that's gone. But there were like 4 jazz clubs. There was Dummy George, Jazz Workshop number 4, Baker's, and there was Papillon. I was working at Papillon's on Sundays with David Miles and the Milestones. But they were doing a lot of R&B, so they fired me. But that was okay, because then I got with Port of Call and Calvin Brooks, my brother, who's in
Vegas,
L.A., one of the few and only jazz gigs is being held down with Calvin Brooks.
Really?
Yeah, but now he's actually singing Motown, because that's what they want to hear. That's where the money is. But this is the story I had to get to. The Funk Brothers and all these people who played Motown that were the rhythm section. They were really jazz musicians, but to put bread on the table, they had to play the funk. They had to play the Motown. And as you said, Desi McCullers was talking about how many people are in the audience. In order to feed their families, they were forced to do Motown. I'm not putting Motown down. I love Motown. Grew up with Motown. This is Motown. But they were jazz musicians. Teddy Harris, oh my goodness, all of those guys. You know.
Harold McKinney.
Yes, thank you. Harold McKinney.
Yes.
Indeed.
That's where I got my version of My Funny Valentine from, down at Baker's Keyboard.
Okay.
He was down there, and I came and showed up and got up on the stage performing with him. He said, "What you want to do, Shirley?" You see, Shirley.
Shirley, not Shelley, but Shirley.
And I said, "Hey, let's do My Funny Valentine." Now, I'm waiting for him to start out in this slow key, because that's, you know, the way I'm always singing in My Funny Valentine. Slow.
Yeah.
He's like, "Let's swing it." I ain't never swung it before. But a jazz vocalist, you gotta be able to swing. Bossa Nova, you ought to be able to come out that gate with a song. However, what that tempo is, you ought to be able to do it. So when he said it, I just started preparing myself. And when he started playing that tempo, and I'm like, oh. I started right at My Funny Valentine, and I was like, "Oh, I like this."
Oh, I want to hear more.
And that's what. But that's where
Keep singing, Shelley. Sing, Shelley. Sing.
And that's when
Eat your cake, anime, and sing, Shelley.
You're gonna make me. I can't wait to get my wine in a minute. And that's when I got that guy. I couldn't sing it the same after, and then it wasn't. It wasn't.
And
long.
Diane Reeves did that version first with the bass. Da-dum, ba-dum.
And see, he must have got it from knew each other. And that's when I recorded it with Rick Jones, but Harold had already passed. Harold already passed.
Yeah.
But I wanted to keep that style, you know. All right, we have a phone call. Hello, how are you, darling?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good. Who we have the pleasure talking to?
Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. Forgive us. We kind of got all enwrapped and engulfed. What you got for
I
me, dear?
heard.
What you got? How are you?
I'm good. I do have a question for Audrey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, Tanya.
My question is, hey,
Okay.
who is your favorite jazz artist?
Ooh.
You made her put her wine down, Tanya.
Ooh. Ella Fitzgerald, Kurt Elling, Al Jarreau, Bobby McFerrin, Diane Reeves. It was Rachel Farrell, but she's doing some different things now. And yes, but I would say Ella is number one, and Sarah Vaughan. Did I say her?
Nope. You got her in now.
Anita O'Day, Nancy. Man, I was listening to Nancy for the past like 3 days. Like, you know, oh my goodness. I just, you know, just scary.
Do you sing,
If I
Tanya?
had my way.
Do you sing, Tanya?
I sing in a church choir, but never by myself, no.
Who is your favorite jazz artist, Tanya?
Well, the ones you mentioned, I like Ella. I like Nancy Wilson. Those two I liked. I like. I can't remember the song Nancy Wilson sings, but you know, I like jazz.
Oh, and
I also like
Betty
I
LaVette.
like R&B too.
Okay.
And I seen you, Audrey, at Jaybirds with the Chrysler Drive Band. And I really liked when you did Just In Case. That's an R&B song.
Yeah, but I made it jazzy. Because I started scatting on it, didn't I?
Yeah, but it was
because I don't know the words to Just In Case.
R&B song, though.
It was an R&B song, and
and you did your thing.
Yeah, I made it jazzy, and that's what I like to do. I'll take an R&B song and start scatting on it. People say, "What?" That's because I don't know the words to R&B songs. That's too many words. get the funk out of my face and whatever, yada yada, whatever. So I say shababa doo dabba doo ba, just in case.
Hey.
I take you home tonight. Da da doo yada dum dum. Shababa doo ba, in case I take you home tonight.
Yes, that was great. That was great. And what is your favorite jazz song that you like to sing?
Right now it's Nature Boy.
Sing a little bit of that.
I do not own the rights to this music. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. See that? That's jazz. When you don't go to the tonic, But then one day, one magic day, he came my way. And as we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this one thing he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn, Nat King Cole, is just to love and be loved, to be loved in return. Nat Cole. How could I forget Nat Cole? Greatest jazz singer. Nat King Cole. First black man to have his own television show. Nat King Cole.
Thank you for asking that, Tanya, because I got a chance. We was able to hear it sing. Thank you for asking that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. You too, sweetie.
You can pull me up on YouTube. And the one record I recorded with Lenny White, the drummer who wrote, was on the Return to Forever with Chick Corea and Miles Davis, was Walk On By, a remake of Walk On By.
I'm certainly going to do YouTube. I love YouTube, so I'll check you out there.
Well, I thank you very much, Tanya.
Thank you. You take care, darling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, to let everybody know, you are watching Jazz Keepers on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, IG, Twitch, and all top social media platforms. Listen, I got to put a little quick injection in here. Tomorrow, we're having a very special backyard boogie right here at 19730 Ralston. It's going to be a special tribute to James Cloyd Jr. We lost him, and this is being sponsored by the Detroit Blues Society. We have our very own Tasha Owens, who's right next door with WDDS. And forgive me, hopefully she can show me some names that I can be able to call off because we're having fabulous bands tomorrow. It's free food, free drinks, free admission, but we do check at the gate. So if you're feeling sick or nauseous or all them kind of, go down the list of COVID, stay at home because we will check at the gate. But once you inside, checking temperatures. Yeah, we're gonna look at your eyeballs too, in case you kind of wobbling and looking. You don't look right. You stay out.
Your eyes are red.
Oh yeah, coughing, hacking. You ain't coming in. I love you, but you ain't coming in. So you can make sure that you come on out tomorrow. It's usually 3 to 9, but it's going to start 2, so it's going to be a little early because we have a jam-packed day. A lot of musicians and vocalists that'll be in the house because it's a jam session as well. I want to also let you know every Saturday at 9 in the morning we have a food drive. You can come and pick up. It's a parking lot across the street. They drop food. You can drive up in the parking lot, load up, and drive out. If you got a bike, you got a bungee cord, you want to put that on, you can go ahead and do that as well. I want to remind you, too, we're taking phone calls. The phone number is area code 313-355-6018. I say it again, 313-355-6018. So you put a melodic in the tone, somebody might remember it. And come on and call in, and you can ask our very special guest in the house, Miss Audrey Northington, Scat Diva. So you got to say that in a special kind of way.
You got to.
See, I got to get
But
people.
see, there's a purpose behind it. I gave voice lessons, and I would tell my students to yawn. Audrey. Oh.
And you know what?
And makes you drop the palate so you can get the best tone when you're singing, and it opens up the rib cage. So that's why I stress it about my name. It's not that I'm trying to be sexy or anything like that.
But you got to do that too.
Well, yeah, that helps too.
Yes, you are fabulous. They can see the color. Oh, how beautiful. Yes. Woo! Yes, without a doubt. But you know what? And you also touched on another question I want to, that you already kind of opened the door to.
Yes.
What can be some suggestions to singers, and musicians can do it too, but basically singers, to help them open up the diaphragm, help them bring their notes from the diaphragm, not in the throat or nasal. But what can be some suggestions to start helping them open up them lungs, that they can have a note that's a pure note?
Well, as I said, you just yawn and open up your arms and just, and that's how you say my name, Audrey. I'm thinking about changing my name to Scat Diva. You think I can get it on my license? You know, kind of like Prince. Well, his name was Prince Rogers Nelson. But how do I go from that? And you know Prince played a little jazz?
Yes.
And guess what?
Oh my God,
Beyonce
yes.
did a little scat, honey. Oh, yes. But, you know, you want to make that big buck, you got to be commercial. And sell out the jazz.
But see, it goes back to what you said, because even as much as I love jazz, my CDs that I put out, and I did 6, they're all basically R&B. Because jazz, I couldn't get the jazz platform where I could really perform.
We didn't even have a jazz station when they got rid of JZZ. Thank you, Jay-Z, for coming
That's
back.
right. That's right.
You know, I loved JZZ back in the day because it told where everybody was performing, the places you can go.
That's right.
Where, you know, how many places can you go? Dirty Dog, Cliff Bell, Burt's Marketplace, and Baker's Keyboard Lounge, y'all.
And Blue Llama.
Blue Llama. Where is that? In Ann Arbor?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and where else? There's another jazz place in Ann Arbor. And in Nashville, let me say, Rudy's Jazz Room. Because I'm from Tennessee.
In New York. Got some jazz
New
spots.
York, you got the, where I met Denzel Washington in the basement. Yes, I did. Well, I was listening to a Jerry Allen concert.
Jerry Allen. Wow.
Oh gosh! Now it Greenwich Village, the James Carter. You're gonna kill me. What is the name of that little tiny place that everybody goes to that wants to hear jazz? Okay, somebody call in and tell me the place.
313-355-6018. If you know where this place is in Greenwich Village, that's in
New York.
New York.
The jazz club I'm talking about, where I met Denzel. See, when you meet Denzel, you forget everything else. Like, where am I? What's my name? Yeah. And he is a big jazz lover. His wife is a classically trained professional jazz pianist.
Really?
Beautiful, gorgeous woman. She's, yeah.
And I bet a lot of people didn't know that Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
If Clint Eastwood, if y'all didn't know.
Midnight in the Garden of Evil. The soundtrack is off the chain.
How about
and Skylark is on there.
With Diana Krall.
Who?
He did Diana Krall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know, Diana Krall does a lot of jazz, a lot of jazz standards. Diana Krall. Mm-hmm. And he did a song for her in one of his movies, and it was, we have a caller. Well, I'll get back to this. I love to see if this caller got the answer for us. What's your name? How are you?
This is Gerard Williams. I don't have the answer. I was just calling to say hello.
Oh,
Gerard, don't you know the answer of the main jazz club in New York in Greenwich Village, where Jerry Allen and Ralph Armstrong and Lenny White played?
Oh, the tip of my... Oh, man. Not Bird. No.
Please, somebody call me with that. Is it the Blue Note?
You sound like it's the Blue Note.
Where is Ralph at? He knows.
Let me see. I'm far from Google here.
Yeah, there you go. Good old Google. In Greenwich Village. If you...
Okay, let me see.
Had to go down
and, you know,
the steps.
and while you're looking, this is what we're going to be doing.
Denzel, call in, please.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But Gerard, yes, Google the name. In Greenwich Village, it's the place. Jerry and Wallace Roney, I saw them in concert. I hung out at their house. It was a wonderful thing. And
Lisa McCall, just in case I know you know New York back and forth. If you got an answer to that too, holla 313-355-6018. But we're gonna see. We're crossing our fingers with Gerard.
What's up, Tadpole? Okay. And guess what? I'm from Tennessee. That's country music, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what do you think you're doing? You're not going to sing jazz in Tennessee. But I heard that Gatlinburg has 17 jazz clubs and 10 blues clubs and 1 Motown room. But they say the Motown room is huge.
You know,
Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Dollywood.
But the more we push this narrative and the more we open up and get everybody to have a discussion like we're doing, we can get more clubs. When we're opened again, we can get more clubs to open up to jazz, as well as to make sure that you're not going to pay a jazz singer what you might pay somebody coming out of school, but to actually give the the money and the credit to what the heart.
And I got to say this. We are the home of the largest and only free jazz festival in the world. Right. Originally called the Montreux Jazz Festival, and then it became the Detroit Ford Tail and all of that. But I'm still going to call it Montreux, which I did about 7 performances. I did about 3 or 4 of them with Ralph Armstrong, about 3 of them with Bill Meyer, 2 or 3 of them with Charles Green, about 3 or 4 of them with Calvin Brooks. I did one with the late great Rob Lowe.
Oh, you got it? You got it? Okay,
Village Vanguard.
The Village Vanguard?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was the Vanguard.
Yep, Village Vanguard.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gerard.
All right.
And by the way, Gerard is a phenomenal player who tours with James Carter and Mickey Braden and some of everybody. But I did see him on the Zoom during the Jazz Festival on Labor Day. And he plays that Hammond B3 without looking at his feet.
I have to look at his feet. And he keep the nicest shoes on.
But he needs some cowboy boots.
Yeah, this is Gerard Williams, but we're talking about Gerard Gibbs.
Oh, Gerard Williams, the singer?
Yeah, me. This is Gerard Williams, not Gerard Gibbs.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gerard. Okay, well, this guy knows some songs that come from everywhere. And you know what? You need to have him in the studio.
Oh, we will. We
You've
will.
got to.
And you hear us, we calling it out.
Gerard Williams. Yes, I adore your vocalises.
Oh, thank you so much.
But we're going to have to get ready to wrap it up. Forgive us. And, I want to make sure. Did you have a real quick question or you just want to show love?
The Vanguard. I thank you so much for calling, Gerard.
I just had to call and say hello and, have my,
Thank you so much.
That's it.
Okay.
But that's the Village Vanguard. That's what I saw on Google.
That is it. Thank you so much for that information.
Hope to see y'all soon.
We'll definitely. I'll get you in here too, okay?
And say hi to my buddy Chidi.
Take care.
Oh, yeah, I will. Okay.
All right.
Why don't you sing something, Gerard? Give us something.
You got to give a little quick.
We don't have time? Okay, next time.
No, do it real quick. Come on. Because I love everybody to hear. Real quick.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. See there?
Thank you so much for that. And you dang on right. I'll be hollering.
Okay.
All right. Much love.
All right. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Once again, we got to wrap it up, you guys. We got to wrap up. This is Jazz Keepers. And we had the fabulous Miss Audrey Northington.
Drop the jaw.
Audrey.
No I. Oh. Hey, y'all, we just being silly. We're having fun. You got to have fun.
Got to. And want to remind you guys, we will be here tomorrow for the Backyard Boogie. Come on through. There's no admission. And we do just ask for donations for the, toward everything going on. And no pets and no kids. I'm sorry, it's an adult party. But come on through. We look forward to seeing you. I'm here every Friday, 9 to 10. And once again, you're looking at Jazz Keepers.
Last 5 minutes
Sunday. What I say? Sunday?
Sunday.
I said Saturday? My bad. Woo!
Oh, the picnic is Sunday.
What's today?
Today is
Sunday.
Friday.
I keep saying tomorrow.
Today is, listen, I only drink on Friday.
And y'all, I didn't have a drink, so that was a pure mistake. But Sunday, I keep saying tomorrow. Thank you. My manager just kind of, keyed in and told me that. So Sunday. I hope nobody went to sleep on Saturday. Sunday. Tomorrow you rest, and then Sunday you party. Okay, that's it. Sunday, backyard boogie.
After you go to Zoom church.
Yeah, give your praise.
Drive-in church.
But we'll see you once again. This is
Triumph.
Jazz Keepers. Good night.